For 2.3.1, we are identifying which of the following functions is either the steepest or the least steep. Sometimes it will say which has the greatest rate of change or the least rate of change. And it wants you to compare multiple linear functions in different representations. So sometimes you'll have a table, sometimes an equation, sometimes points, and then sometimes also a graph. So you need to be able to find the slope from each of those representations and then compare. And steepest means the furthest from zero, while the least steep would then mean the closest to zero. So we're going to identify the slope of each of these and then figure out which is the furthest from zero. If you're given a table, you are going to want to use the slope formula. And we get to pick our 2 points that we want to use for the slope formula. So you want to use whatever is the easiest for you. I think, so this is x and this is y. I think this point is pretty easy. And then I'm going to use this one as well. You can rewrite these as points out of the table if you would like, but I just like to do this so I save myself a little bit of work, because then I can go ahead and label my x1, y1, and x2, y2. And so when I plug these into the formula, I get 4 minus 1 over 1 minus 0. 4 minus 1 gives me 3, and 1 minus 0 is 1. 3 over 1 is just 3. So I have my first slope for that first representation. If we have an equation in y equals mx plus b, our slope is our m, and so this slope is 1/3. And a set of points, again, we're going to use the slope formula, so we're going to want to label and plug them into our formula. And we get negative 1 over 3, so negative 1/3, and that is our slope for that one. The only one we didn't go through in here is a graph, and remember for graphs you count rise and then you count run. So now I'm looking at which is the furthest from 0, and you want to imagine like you're taking steps from 0 to the numbers, and so this would take 3 steps, this would take 1/3 of a step, and this would take 1/3 of a step. And so it doesn't matter that this one's positive and this one's negative. Positives and negatives don't matter. We're just talking about distance from 0. And so the furthest from 0 is going to be this 3 steps one. And so quickly just write a sentence and say, which of the following functions is the steepest? The table, because 3 is farther from 0. And that's always your reason why, is the distance from 0. So the table is the steepest because 3 is farther from 0 than 1/3 and negative 1/3.